Hello and welcome to our 54th episode of Out of State DMing. I am your host, lluksblackheart, and able to join me today is my co-host, LadyCelt, and we are going to
You're going to what?
try to finish the ranger spells. Because we only really got to delay poison,
Okay.
so we're only like 5 spells deep. There's shenanigans and side tangents.
Yeah.
Uh, so the next spell we're going to, well, not necessarily completely cover, but at least point out is detect animals and detect animals or plants. It functions just like detect any detection spell. It's a 60-foot cone, but when you cast it, you pick animals or plants. And in case you're wondering, it's not every single plant. It's plant creatures. Otherwise, that
Okay.
spell would be not very good. Good, just like you're in a forest. I can't detect plants. Well, now you're practically going blind because there's plants everywhere. It's more to easily pin out like what's a is that a treant or a normal tree? It's a shambly mount hiding over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, you wouldn't believe how many people go, the plant, well, that spell sucks because I don't need to detect plants. I can see we're in a
Excuse me.
field with flowers and
One
grass.
second. 1 second.
Uh,
You downstairs. Out.
dog attack. Do, 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 do. um, it's not a proper out of state podcast without something interfering in some degree. I'm just happy that it's not me having a dog problem this time.
Yeah, I was not going to sit here while she decided to sing the song of her people while we were trying to talk.
Yeah. Uh, the next spell is detect poison, which it tells it you can with a cast you can pretty much see if someone or something is poisoned or has poison, like a vial of poison that assassin would have, a poisonous plant, a venomous creature, because it goes, oh, poison's right there. And like I said, if someone does get poisoned, you're like, oh, that person's poisoned.
Okay.
So it's a easy detection thing there. Detect snares and pits. It reveals natural or primitive traps, like a natural pitfall or extreme primitive things like a hole that has downwards facing spikes in it. So when your foot goes in it, if you go to pull it out, well, you're not
Yeah.
getting your foot back. Some Vietnam flashbacks there. The next spell is a good one. Does a druids and clerics get this one too. Endure elements. It lets you succeed comfortably in hot or cold environments. It doesn't give you like a cold resistance or a fire resistance, but what it does is in certain temperatures where you would start to suffer environmental damages, this helps you not take those damages by downgrading it. Because if it's too hot or too cold, you start
Okay.
taking damage and or other penalties like becoming fatigued. So this helps you survive in those things a little bit more. Then we have Entangled, everyone's favorite. If there's no plants, the spell doesn't work. But if there are plants, they now try to grab, entwine, entangle, or just hinder anything in it or entering it. and it is a 40-foot radius from where you pop it. And I'm not gonna lie, this is one of those spells that if you willy nilly don't pay attention to player placement, well, allied placement, you can easily trap the entire party because the spell has friendly fire. It does not care what it is. You're not even immune to its effects. There's a couple times in my Thursday game where this spell was used, and then the party member was having problems because like you centered it here, yeah. The entire party and the monster you're trying to get away from is within 40 feet of where you placed it, and start making those saving throws and checks because everyone's now being stopped or extremely slowed.
Yeah, like casting fireball in an enclosed room.
um, yeah, when we get to fireball balls, I'll go on a little tangent on that, but that's for the wizard
That's a,
sorcerer spells because
right.
recently in Thursday campaigns a enclosed room had a fireball go off in it, and the bard did not
Oh
appreciate
God.
it. The next spell is hide from animals. This is a pretty decent one because it gives you the chance to just not be perceived by an animal. It's kind of like invisibility, but only for creatures of that typing.
Mhm.
So it is still a pretty good spell if you don't want like a pack of dire wolves to rip you to pieces. Oh, I'm getting burpy now. Or if you want to hide from the massive dire polar bear that's trying to find the party. So like there's particular there's situations where it's perfect. But if you're like, it's a beholder, hide from animal. Beholder's not an animal, it's not gonna work.
I was gonna say that doesn't really count, does it?
No, because beholder is an aberration, not an animal. But I'm bringing up an
Then it
actual scenario that happened. It's like, I
okay.
have hide from animal. Don't worry, guys. We're all hidden. One, you're within this cone of the beholder. Two, it's an aberration. So the spell auto fails because anti magic cone from the beholder. And then it wouldn't work even if you weren't because it's an aberration, not an animal. So it's like one of those. You stun locked the beholder because it heard you say that, and it felt like it got hit by the enfeeblement spell because its intelligence just dropped by that statement. That some
Yeah, thinking it was an animal that dropped the
yeah
intelligence in the
yeah.
whole room.
It's like it's sometimes some of the stuff players say make me feel like I've been hit by an enfeeblement spell. This is like what? No, and that
Oh, some of the decisions that Ian and Jose would make when they were playing, it's like, guys, I think you need a microchip. If this is your decision making skills, let's get you guys microchips.
yes. And I will say, a lot of the not so intelligent decisions that have been made in previous games I've ran have been due to lack of thinking or over overthinking. It's like we shouldn't take a half hour for you guys to make up if you're going right or left. Especially because you know what's left and what's right. It's not a dungeon.
Flip
Left
a
goes to
coin.
town A, right goes to town B. One's closer, the other one's bigger. Big town, small town. Closer town, farther town. Half hour later. Just pick a random direction, please. Uh,
Yeah, that's
the next spell
what are you doing, guys?
is a spell that a lot of people there's a subset for don't like, despite the fact it's actually
Mm-hmm.
good. Jump. being able to get a bonus to your jump checks is always great. The spell jump does that. And the only reason that it wouldn't work is if the person you're casting on goes, when it's like, I can fly. So it's like, if they're flying, they don't need the spell jump put on them unless they're trying to not make too much noise. But still, like, it's not a crappy spell. It's a situational spell, yes, but it's still a good spell. Just God, the amount of times where it's like, you have access to this spell, but I don't like that spell. Okay. 20 minutes later, wow, the fact that you failed to jump over that spiked wall and got part of your leg impaled on a spike. Wouldn't that jump spell have worked after this point? Not cool. It's like, you knew beforehand there was going to be a wall. You had to jump. You
Yeah.
could have prepped the
And
jump
if you have a
spell.
spell called jump, you would think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's like,
And
you
I can
could have.
definitely see, like, if you need to get up in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the next spell also helps with jump, and this is something a lot of people don't realize because they don't. They say they read things, but then they don't. It's Long Strider. Long Strider gives you a plus 10 to your base land speed. Well, a little known fact that if you do a running jump, which is like at least a 10-foot run, for every 10 feet you have above 30, you get additional plus 4 to your jump check. That
Nice.
stacks with the spell jump. There's a spell jump is like enhancement, while the long strider bonus is circumstantial because it you not only have to do the running jump, but your speed has to be X. So they stack with one another, so you can end up just boom. Which also makes barbarians and monks the best jumpers in the game, because barbarians naturally have a base speed of plus 10. So no matter what race you're playing, you're moving 10 feet faster. So right there's a 4. While monks, by the time I think they're level 16, their base land speed taps out at plus 50 or something like that. So
Oh,
it's like
wow.
right there, being a human, running, being able to do a single move action of 80, you're literally looking at everyone else and going, I have a bag of holding for all my crap, and I move faster than your horse. What do you want me to do? But also, that's a plus 20 to like all their jump checks if they do a running start. So it's like, boom. Yeah. Just silly decisions from people. Next is Magic Fang, which works just the same as if a druid would cast it. You pick one natural weapon and you get a +1 on attack and damage rolls with it. But you also have to remember
Okay.
the natural weapon has to actually count as a natural weapon. For instance, even though technically like a human can punch and it's a die force of dual damage, that doesn't count as a natural weapon. If he had
So,
claws or
uh,
a. Go ahead.
a club, something like that, a stick.
No, that would count as a
Uh,
improvised weapon or a weapon. A natural weapon would be like you go to your a wolf and you cast Magic Fang on their bite attack because that's a
oh,
natural
okay.
attack. If you go to a ram and choose its even though it's a ram, they call it a gore. It's gore attack. So whenever it rams something, it gets additional +1 to hit and damage rolls. A eagle, you choose its talons. It now gets a +1 to those things there. So it's not as simple as technically you can bite and you can kick and you can hit. They're not considered natural weapons unless the stat block actually gives it to you. So so even if you pick monk and you get like unarmed strike stuff to where you technically are now a weapon, that's still not considered a natural weapon, so the spell doesn't actually help you there.
Okay.
So it's caveats.
Okay. So what would it help with?
If you were a werewolf, you could
Okay.
cast it on your bite attack or your claw attack. If you or any race, they said any race that had a natural attack. Like one of the races I use in my world has a uh, slashing tail. It's pretty much their tail has it's not necessarily like a spike, but it's more like a blade, so they get attacks of opportunity with it, and they technically get to smack things with it. That's a natural weapon. Therefore, Magic Fang can work on that, so they can now get better odds of hitting stuff when they do their attack of opportunities. Um, so like anything that has it, boom. It's more of a not cast on yourself spell though. It's more on like your animal companion or any particular animal you want to have a better odds, because there's a lot of things that have like DR/magic, meaning magical attacks are the only thing that bypasses the DR. And you're like, I want my heavy warhorse to hoof that creature to death. So I'm going to Magic Fang its hooves. So it's now, they're considered +1 hooves. So it can now beat the crap out of thing a wee bit easier.
Okay.
The next spell is a spell that, despite the fact of being really, really good, only really gets used when the party actually see it work, and then they actually go out of the way to prep it and use it. Pass without trace.
What is it?
Pass without trace.
Okay.
Because in essence,
So
what it does,
you leave nothing behind, no scent,
no tracks, no sense,
nothing.
nothing.
Okay, it's
It is a catch-all. So if you're walking
okay.
through snow, but you have Pass Without Trace cast on you, you don't leave snow prints. If you haven't washed in like 3 weeks and you smell bad, well, Pass Without Trace, you don't leave scent, so technically no one can smell you anymore because that counts under Pass Without Trace. It's really good for two main reasons. One, you get to effectively target multiple entities with it equal to your caster level. So if you're caster level 5, you get to choose 5 people, yourself and 4 others. It also lasts like an hour per caster level, so it's a long lasting spell. So it's
Okay.
really good. Uh, but like I said, there's been multiple times with some of these players being repeat in different campaigns where they don't see the point of it until they see it in some action work, because like, oh, you guys are being hunted down by this creature here that won't stop until either A, it completely loses your scent, B, something else crosses its path that gets its attention, or C, something actually defeats it and stops it. The spell, even though it's sitting there like on the ranger's prep spells for the day, it's like, why don't you cast it? You're at minimum, you get hours of traveling with it trying to figure out where you went, because it can't follow you. But they're like, no, until it's like, oh, this creature keeps catching up on you because it's moving fast. So I mean, it's not technically stopping. You guys have to keep overutilizing your horses to keep that distance, because you guys technically either don't think you can defeat it, or one party member convinced you guys that you actually can't, despite the fact like, oh, you guys have all this stuff here. It's going to be a tough, hard, long fight, but you guys have a chance. But because this person here, you keep running. If you cast Pass Without Trace, you're not. It's not following you at all, because you're not leaving anything. And that once that gets hammered in through their thick skulls, that hey, you guys aren't getting restful sleep because it's not actually stopping, because it has stuff that's actually go for it, and it's periodically stopping to make sure it has your scent, it's still just constantly catching up to you. If you do this, they finally do it and go, great, now you guys actually have a first night of not having to hear the sounds of an angry, quasi magical boar of doom because it's far, far away and isn't following you because it lost your scent. Then they go, oh, we should use this more often. It's like, this is like the fifth campaign you guys have in where that spell could have helped you out a lot, but it takes hammering it in before they actually use it. Uh, so,
Yeah,
in
in
your
my second edition game, I do play a ranger.
yeah, well, if you get the chance to utilize this spell, because I think I want to say it's in second edition. Uh, that spell it helps out a lot because
Yeah, I was already thinking about it, going, "Oh, I need to look this up."
yeah, it doesn't help hide campsites because those technically aren't covered by the spell, but it helps like they don't know what direction you came from, and if you cast it before the party leaves, they don't know what direction you went. So if there's a an angry warband of orcs trying to catch up to you, unless they get lucky and find their campsite, they're gonna go in a random direction and not be able to find you because, well, random direction they're going in. So it is a really, really good spell. Uh, Rangers also get read magic. There's been multiple times where people are like, well, they don't need read magic. They don't use scrolls or spell books. Well, read magic lets you read magical writing. Do
Okay.
Rangers actually capable of using scrolls? Technically, yes, because there are some spells that range spells that you can get on scrolls, so it helps them there. But it's also good if you run into any form of magical writing, not just in a spell book or on a scroll, like magical writing on a wall, a door, or some other random thing that doesn't necessarily let you cast spells, but it still has some sort of magical messaging on it. It lets with that. Uh, which still is funny. That's one of the least used spells anyone uses. Even when I point out, it's like you technically can't read spells without that book. Well, scrolls without that spell active, or
Okay.
technically utilize the spell book without that spell active. Even though I am lenient with wizards on that because it's kind of in order for them to prep their spells, they need to be able to read their spell book. So it kind of defeats the purpose of needing to have a spell active that you don't have prepared for that day in order to prepare your spell. It's a cycle of
Oh, scared me.
the
Which book?
wizard feeling
Huh?
useless.
Which book? Which book? Reading. Is that over there? Yes. No.
Poke him in his
I
belly.
think it's downstairs. Yeah, I think it's downstairs.
You didn't poke him in his belly.
Nah,
He got out of
he
reach.
had to work all day. He had to work. He worked from 6:30 to like 4:30.
That that's a pretty long shift. That's 10 hours. So yay.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's that was Saturday. He also worked all week, so I'm not giving him a bad time. I'll do it when he's on vacation.
Wait until after he's well rested, then poke him. Uh,
Yeah.
the next spell is always useful. Resist energy, where you pick an energy type and you ignore 10 points of it each, per different attack. So that can help you just not care about the sorcerer casting fireball because you're like resist energy fire. What's that mean? I have resist fire 10, so I ignored the first 10 points of fire damage, so I can have a higher odds of, not dying to that fireball. So
That was
that's,
probably cast by a member of your own party in a room because they don't read their spells.
well, it's not necessarily that they don't read their spells. It's more of I don't care how big the room is. I cast fireball. It's like the next
Yep.
yeah, the next spell is always good, but not necessarily overly used or used on the wrong things. Speak with animals. This does that you have an
Oh yeah.
actual dialogue with animals, not vermin. So it doesn't let you can't speak to bugs. It does not let you speak to magical beasts. It's only animals. Uh, like one of the things that recently happened not too long ago is the party was interacting with a dragon, and one party member wouldn't stop bringing up that I can speak with animals. I have this active. I can speak with animals. What does it say? It's like it's a dragon. The spell fails
Yeah. The
to
dragon's quite capable
interpretate.
of speaking for
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. It's like it may not be properly speaking or anything. This is a wormling. Uh, but it at minimum it's going to be communicating in draconic, not animal, because it's not an animal. If you could communicate with it with the spell animal, then it's not a dragon.
Too
Uh,
intelligent and magical.
like even the dumbest of the dragons, the white dragon, still it's like it'll still look at you and go, I may be stupid in relation to my kindred, but I'm not that stupid.
That or, like centaurs. Centaurs, if you say that they're like that was what pissed them off so bad by when Umbridge said that they were creatures of near human intelligence because they consider themselves to be far superior.
Yeah, yeah, the centaurs do have that site there, um, but pretty much calling them animals in any degree is like kind of irks them a bit. The next spell is Summon Nature's Ally 1 because, yes, just like druids, the ranger does get access to being able to summon animals to help them. So having access to like speak with animal kind of helps out a little bit more, even though through the spell, you can just if you give it certain orders like fight that creature, carry him away, help us here, do this. It'll help within its best of its capabilities. But speak with animal lets you actually have a proper dialogue with it. Like if you summon a nature, I'm going to summon a deer to try to get information on the surrounding area. Summon Nature's Ally doesn't let you give you that information. All it does is bring it to you. So speak with animal lets you give me one. I have to interrupt this broadcast real quick because I'm being yelled at.
Okay. Okay.
And we are
Is
back.
Marla in town or something?
Just yay. Someone forgot I'm doing a podcast.
Do you have guests this weekend?
No, she's doing something and uh forgot I'm doing the
Okay.
podcast and didn't really plan appropriately. She never does.
It's a common thing with the because I'm the same way. I am so scatterbrained. It's not even funny. I
Yeah.
remember to do this because I finally started setting an alarm on my phone to get ready for it.
Yeah.
But if I'm with babysitting babies and stuff, I can't necessarily do it. If I could, but the youngest one, you can't look away for a second because he's one of those kids that
Something
he
bad's
sees
gonna
something
happen.
baby proof and he sees something baby proofed and he looks at it and like, bet.
Challenge accepted. Uh but yeah, we can move on to second level ranger spells.
Okay.
And it starts off strong with Bark Skin, which does, at the bare minimum, grant a +2 to your natural armor bonus. You don't need to have an armor bonus, one natural armor bonus, for it to work, but it does stack with pre-existing ones. And the higher level you are, the bigger that bonus gets. To somewhat represent like your uh, prowess as a spellcaster means that spell works better, so it's always good. And any form of actual AC bonus can be labeled a huge success because even if it's only a 1, not getting hit is always funner than getting hit. Especially when party members put themselves in not so advantageous positions and don't have any choice but to be the target of a big monster. Rangers do get access to several of the buff spells, such as Cat's Grace, Owl's Wisdom, Bear's Endurance, which Bear's Endurance
Okay.
augments your Constitution, Cat's Grace augments your Dex, Owl's Wisdom augments your. No, I just messed up. Cat's Grace is Dex, Owl's Wisdom is Wisdom. Brain
Okay.
wanted to not brain that for a moment. Uh, so Rangers
Can
can,
they move silently?
yeah, yeah. Does a If you want more hit points, Bear's Endurance. If you want better range combat and or stealthing, Cat's Grace. If you want to have better spot listen checks or just know you're going to be fighting something that likes to use spells that affect the mind, Owl's Wisdom. Because that helps with will saving throws.
Okay.
So those are all good spells, but are quasi circumstantial because they last a minute per level. So the higher level you are, the better, or higher cash level, I should say, the better. But if you use them prematurely, you could either end up running out of the duration of them or not have that much time left when you actually encounter the creature you wanted to use it for. So it's a very big, give me a few rounds to do this, guys, then I'll be able to actually help you fight this monster because you don't always know when you're going to need it. And again, Bear's Endurance is always real good if someone's like, I'm gonna die here in a moment. Slap them in the back with Bear's Endurance. They immediately are going to get hit points because they can't. Gives you cleric long enough time to actually heal them. Or it can help the ranger heal them because rangers too get access to cure light wounds. It is a second level spell for them, but they still get access to healing. Therefore, you don't have to technically have a cleric to do healing because this is yet another class that gets access to a curing spell. But they're due to them being considered half casters and it's a second level spell, they're not going to be able to have the same curing capability as the cleric, because Cure Light Wounds is a first level cleric spell that they can literally start the game with. And they reach that +5 a lot quicker and get access to better healing spells by the time the ranger actually gets this. But it's still nice to know that ranger is capable of backing up the cleric when circumstances call for it, because the more people have access to healing abilities, the higher your chance of survival being, because again, the cleric can't always get to everyone.
Yeah.
And there's also the whole, if you put all your eggs in one basket and the basket gets broken or unaccessible, like a hold monster spell, a domination spell, or hey, look, your cleric's in the negative. He can't heal anyone because they're unconscious. Now the party is going to suffer because no one else had healing.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, you can tell I'm somewhat not uh, in the position of only the cleric should do healing. It's everyone who can do healing should get healing, even if it's putting stuff in
That's how we
this.
play it.
Yeah, even if it's the skill heal, which lets you not only stabilize people, but then you can actually use potions, roll the check to make sure you don't drown them, and voila, the potion actually works because you were able to actually get them to drink it. So it's like everyone should have some form of healing in some regard. The next spell is Hold Animal. It's similar to Hold Person, but it works on animals. So one animal is paralyzed for one round per caster level. So it only auto fails if A, it's not an animal, or B, it's something that's actually immune to paralysis. So it's still,
So if you cast that on somebody's horses, you can get them
you can stop if the horse
immobilized.
fails the will saving throw. The horse
Yeah.
becomes paralyzed. Therefore, if it's a bad guy trying to get away on the horse won't go anywhere. So the bad guy's like, well, crap. You got me.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Uh, Now, I have been circumstances where people have cast it on not animals. Like, they go, hey, hey, that's a horse. Boom. It's like, that's a nightmare. And it's
Yeah,
still an animal.
not
It's like,
not
no,
a
no, no, it's not.
mundane horse.
Well, it's not even like that. It's not a mundane horse. It's not an animal. It looks at you. Now it's going to come over and curb stomp you with its flaming hose. I cast Hold Animal on it. It should work. It's not an animal. Just because it looks like an animal doesn't mean it is an animal. It's like an owlbear. I've been searching answers where people go, I cast Hold Animal on the owlbear. And I just look at them and go, it's a magical beast.
That's not how that works.
It's a literal magical beast. It auto
You know,
passes.
every time I think about an owl bear, I can't help but think how incredibly fluffy and soft it must be.
Uh, well, I mean, yeah, they, if you could get one in the position to not try to eat you, probably, yeah, big fluffy, things, because technically they are a bear with owl features, like the head.
Right.
The claws on it are more like the talons. So you got like the gripping strength and the rending strength of the owl being supported by the. It doesn't take one slap from a grizzly to. Well, it doesn't take more than one slap from a grizzly to make you, wake up in a hospital. Lucky you're not dead, because that's technically what owl
Or
bears
it just
are.
makes
They're
you, or
owl
it just
grizzly
deletes
bears.
you altogether.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can get one to not want to, eat your face, it probably would be quite snuggly wuggly. Just go look up. It's like, how soft is bear fur? Which is funny.
I'm not
We're
sure.
talking about owls when there's this. I'm staring at the spell owl's wisdom. This wisdom will tell you uh, that that's a fusion of two different animals. It would also tell you that animal-based spells won't work on the owlbear because it's not an animal. Yeah. The next spell is protection from energy. It works in the same concept of resist energy, but it's 12 points that it absorbs instead of 10. So it's like the better version of it. So if you're wanting the slightly better degrees of protection, you can go there. Uh, then we have snare, which creates a
Mhm.
magical booby trap, which can be useful for slowing things down. Uh, if you cast it in combat, you can hope you can attempt to trick or coerce an enemy into going where it's at. So you can bam hit them with that. So it does have its in and out of combat uses. Even though it's one of the spells that I rarely see used. The next spell is definitely one of my favorites. Speak with plants. There's
Oh
just
wow, yeah, that would be good.
yeah, there's just like because druids also get this. Um, and I'll say this repetitively, no matter how many times the spell comes up. Uh, Information you can get from animals, speak with animals, is great, but plants can do the same thing. Even though they're technically stationary, so they're not like
Yeah,
roaming around the area.
but if the ivy is growing in the enemy's window, you
Yeah,
could find out what he's doing.
yeah. So if you look at the enemy fortification and you see plants overgrowing things due to them not carrying or actual lack of maintenance, you can go speak to the ivy that's growing on and around the walls, and you can actually get glimpse, a glimpse into how many people are usually on patrol in that area, how often they swing through that area. If you're in an area where part of the forest where it looks like some big monster usually goes through because like there's this particular path of like broken trees or trees that are like trying to grow but keep getting it ripped out and stuff, you can go, okay, what's doing this to this tree? Speak with plants. Hey tree, what did you witness tearing up and destroying your friends? It can give you some sort of description and probably how often it goes through the area. It's like the real life counterpart is there's this area where a grizzly bear goes through, and there's like no trees growing in it. And whenever it goes through and it sees a sapling, it bum rushes over and just rips out and brutalizes the sapling because it just doesn't want any trees
Wow.
growing in this specific spot. No particular reason why, because like it's not hunting in that patch. It's not actually resting past. It's just on part of its route. This particular section can't have trees in it.
It just it just annoys him.
It just like despite the fact that there's all these other trees that can mess up, it just looks down this strut, and if there's a tree trying to grow, it just rends it to pieces. So animals do weird stuff, other monsters do weird stuff because well, they're subject to weird stuff just like people are. So speak with plants can help you get a glimpse of what is or isn't in a particular area based on what that particular plant or plants if you decide to try to talk to several within the time span you have with the spell of what is happening in an area. So it is hands down still a really, really good spell. Uh, Next, we do have spike growth, which,
Spike growth.
yeah, in the area with plant matter and stuff in it. Uh, well, I'd have to double check if it has to be plants. Well, you cast it in the affected area, and spikes grow out. They're not
Oh,
they're
okay.
not permanent because they last for the duration spell. Any creature in the affected area takes die 4 damage. It also has a chance to slow them.
Okay.
So it's like any creature that has the condition slowed is limited to single action turns, which means anything that takes more than one action it can't do. So it's either swinging or it's moving. If it's casting a spell, it's limited to standard action spells only. Anything that's a full round action or anything like that, it can't do because slowed goes you limit it. It's like one of the reasons why zombies are so easy to beat is because they're constantly slowed. They can either do a move
Okay.
action or they can attack, not both. Which I do have a fix for that, but that's for a different topic altogether. So spike growth does
Okay.
have its uses, but it's also one of those spells that I don't actually see cast that often. It's one of those I saw this creature do it and it worked against us, so now I'm going to use it against the enemy, which happens a lot in my game sessions. Is a lot of players don't see the value of a spell until it's used on them.
Let me see. I could think of, I would use it on races that don't, if I'm fighting someone of a race that doesn't typically wear shoes.
Oh well, it's not like tiny spikes like that. It's like bigger spikes that someone walking through full plate, spike growth affects them just as effectively as if they were walking naked.
Ah,
So while they're wearing boots or heavy armor, spike growth goes, I don't care. Magic spikes. And it's an affected area. So like if you cast on an area and let's say there's like 15 orcs within that affected area trying to get to the party. Well, all of them have to do now all these saving throws for the damage and for being slowed, so you can literally mess them up and slow them. And it's like each turn they're into the affected zone, they're taking the effect. So it's like one of those rinse and repeat things. So as long as it's there, they're not enjoying it. Some natures I like too is just like normal summon natures I like, but you can summon slightly more powerful creatures. This it's the second list, not the first list. Windwall is the last second level spell rangers get. Windwall is great
nice.
because it arrows, which bolts do fire from a crossbow count on this small creatures and gases get prevented from it. Even though small creatures get like a saving throw to pass through, but it can stop a lot of things. Like it also stops it can stop. I think it can stop javelins. I know it can stop daggers and throwing axes. Javelins, I think, are the we would have to double check the spell, but small thrown things it can stop. So it's literally a there's like 100 elves trying to rain down hell upon the party. Party member goes wind wall. Now they have to circumvent the wind wall in order to shoot us, so we can have fun go this way because the wind wall stops the arrows from getting to us.
That's useful.
It can be very useful. Uh, it's
If
like
you're fighting
also
a bunch
because
of
it
archers,
can
it's really useful.
Yeah, because it can also affect small creatures. If there's like a horde of goblins coming at you, you cast Wind Wall, not necessarily like in a straight thing, but like in a curved thing by them. So if they go forward, they have to manage to get through the wind wall, which can either directly stop them or go, hey, now you're stuck in a wind wall for a while. Well, they now have to backtrack a lot to go around it. So you can literally go, we're escaping. Why? They're small sized creatures. Wind wall. Shuckin' shuckatash. Trying to get me now. Yeah, so it does have its uses. It also stops gases, so anything that uses any form of gas attack, you're like, wind wall. Now we don't care. And that technically also means if you have the wind wall cast on you and someone casts like fog, mist, obscuring mist on the outside, so it's like not the center of the inside of the where the party's at, on the outside, wind wall stops that stuff from getting to you. So as long as creatures and pass through the wind wall to get to you, you're not obscured from vision, but it does stop you from seeing out because, well, that's where that fog stuff is. So it's a very good counter force that stuff. But it's one of those who cast it for first type things. But it's still also good because there's certain gas attacks that some creatures use. If Windroll is active when the creature goes to use it, the creature gets to go, oh, you countered me. Yeah. Alright. But next is level 3 Ranger spells. And they do get some good ones in here, like Command Plants. It lets you sway the actions of one or more plant creatures. So you can use it to have a shambling mount not really want to pummel the party. You can have it go walk away. If there's a treant barring your path because it's doing the whole thou shall not pass routine, you can use Command Plant to get it to step out of the way so the party can move forward. So it's.
I have a good question.
And
Would it work on one of those little mushroom guys?
the
I can't remember what they're called
crap
because I just got done painting a bunch of them. That's why it's fresh in my mind.
uh I think I know what you're talking about. And technically, yes, because they are plant creatures. So if you look at the creature typing, if it's a plant, boom. And fungal creatures, like the mycelioids.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think that's what they're
yeah.
called.
They are plant creatures, even though they're technically fungus and mushrooms. The game system labels them as plant, and
Okay,
because they're
good. That's what
labeled
I wanted to know.
plant things work on them. So you could use Command Plant to get one because it says one or more. So the higher you cast a level, the more of them you can affect. So if you're high enough level, you can have an entire group of them. Just pretend you never saw us, and the party gets to go away, and they're going to for as long as they're affected by the spell, go, oh, we didn't see people. So yeah, uh, it gotta love creature typing. Next, as a third level spell, they do get Cure Moderate Wounds, which is normally a second level spell for clerics. So right there, better healing magic. They then also get Dispel Dark Vision, that for the duration of the spell, whoever has this spell cast upon them can see in darkness out to 60 feet. So that's always useful for people playing characters that do not have dark vision. The next spell is Greater Magic Fang. It works just like the first level version, so it has to be an actual weapon that it casts on, but the difference is it gets a +1 per 3 caster levels to attack and damage to a max of +5. So a high enough level ranger, just as if they were high enough level druid, you cast that on like the hooves of a horse, the bite attack of your wolf, the talons of your eagle. And for every 3 cast levels you possess, it gets additional +1 for it. So it's kind of like I want you to be more badass on your butt kickery. And voila, it is, because Greater Magic Fang.
That
The
sounds good.
oh it what are you doing? My can
In certain situations, would be very useful.
no, my
Well,
computer
it's
tried
seven
to pull something up on
o'clock
me.
anyway. It seems like your computer's starting to have issues.
No, I pressed the wrong button. Okay.
Mm.
But yeah, we can leave it off on Greater Magical Fang. Uh,
Okay.
so next week we'll most likely be able to finish off the Ranger spells. Uh, but yeah,
Okay.
the big thing to take into note with the spells we have covered is would probably be the ones relying on creature typing, because if it's not an animal, a lot of the spells the ranger gets aren't going to affect on it because they're animal specific, and same thing with the plant specific ones or natural weapon based ones for like magical fang. So just for
Okay.
those who see this, just pay a little bit of attention to what spells you're prepping and what you're trying to get them to use them on, because there's always that moment. I've been there, I've done this on not paying attention, cast a spell and it auto fails because, well, the spell has its own limitations. But I would also like to thank everyone for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for more spells.
Bye.